I've been trying to figure out what science fiction elements there are in this show Andhera, the show that was just released on Amazon Prime. Everyone online has been calling this a science fiction show, so I've been trying to figure out what science fiction elements there are. Is it the tech chair that people sit in and go into some sort of virtual reality? I don't think so. That's not science fiction. That's simply reality. We have VR tech available right now. Is it that people undergoing this mysterious procedure, the procedure that will cure them of their depression? Is it that these people are all connected psychically at the time of their death? No, that's the realm of fantasy. It has no basis in science. Is it the metal headbands that people wear before going into this VR headspace? Again, that's just the tool used to get to where the narrative wants you to go. It's not important enough to warrant a science fiction tag. Is it all the shenanigans that happens at the medical facility? I say medical facility, but it's really some sort of strange wellness clinic with no basis in medicine. But even if we were to allow it to be a medical center, the medical center is just a place where all the action happens. It's just a setting for the story. I think this show has exactly zero science fiction elements. It only feels like a science fiction show because they've talked about science in the very loosest of sense. They've enveloped the series in a modern setting, in a medical setting, and that for some strange reason makes this a science fiction series for people. The show explores depression, and depression in many forms. It introduces us to a machine that's supposed to cure depression, a machine that takes you to a virtual world, shows you how peaceful the place is, and then takes your depression away. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but sure, it cures your depression by showing you the sea. The lead character has depression, and this depression hampers his progress throughout the show. He tries to kill himself. He's in a weird sort of funk for most of the show. Depression is mentioned several times throughout the show, but that's it. There's no exploration of how depression changes your life. There's no exploration of how someone is supposed to deal with it. What happens to you when you don't deal with it? It's all just superficial dressing. And that makes me wonder, are stories just supposed to show you an issue and leave it at that, without any nuanced exploration of its aspect, without exploring different sides to it, without exploring how it affects different people? Depression here is just something that's used to add a dimension to this story, to make people think there's depth to this story. Nothing of consequence actually happens with depression, which makes me wonder if anyone involved in writing this story has any experience with depression, or did they just write this because they had to write about something? And then there's Jude. Look, this guy is supposed to be the comic relief of the show, the one who lightens up the show whenever he's on screen. And to a large extent, he does that. He's awkward, he's a geek, he's likable. But here's the thing. This guy is supposed to be depressed. I don't see any signs of depression in this character. It just seems like the writers shoved him in there because, like all traditional stories, this story needed a side character to lighten the mood. The scares in the show are too few, and more often than not, sort of underwhelming. While the darkness enveloping the girl at the beginning of the series was nothing really, at least it suggested something more grand and more sinister that was coming our way. But then nothing grand, nothing sinister came our way after that. The evil doppelgangers, they're mildly unsettling at first, but they appear so often that they stop bothering you after you've seen them for the 15th time. The eye that appears in the sky when our lead gets lifted off the roof and towards the eye thing, that was not horrifying at all. But it was interesting because for me, it reminded me of a Lovecraftian monster of some sort. Its effects on the world, similar to what Lovecraft's gods would have on our world. But Lovecraft's gods are not interested in humans at all. To them, we're annoying gnats that need to be squashed. Whereas the monster in Andhera was very much interested in humans and what humans could do for the monster. Most frightening of all the scares was actually the mother of the first victim. The way she stares, the way she knows things, and the way she behaves, all this from a frail old woman, it was unsettling really. Atma Healing, the faux medical center, where all this shenanigans was happening. The place that made no medicines, provided no medical services, and yet called itself a pharma company. I'm not entirely sure how, because like I said, it made no medicines, provided no medical services. But propping up pharma companies as the bad guys is sort of cliche, I think. I don't think it's wrong. I think in many cases, pharma companies, especially in America, pretty vicious. They're profiteering. They lack basic empathy. But the series sets up this pharma company that doesn't make medicines as this big bad. And I'm beginning to wonder exactly how altruistic pharma companies around here in India are. Are we all being manipulated by these companies to buy medicines we don't need for conditions we don't have? I don't know. But I'm not going to think too much about it because I have other more interesting things to think about. Like, why do some werewolves turn into werewolves on nights when there's no full moon? Anyway, the two romantic relationships we see in the show, like the rest of the show, is seriously underdeveloped. Prajakta Kohli and Jay come out of nowhere. There's absolutely no reason for the two of them to develop romantic interest in each other, yet they end up kissing each other. It could be argued that the stress of everything happening around them caused them to act out the way they did, but really that avenue is not explored at all either. So I don't know how they ended up kissing each other, but they did. The other relationship between Kalpana the cop and Aisha the woman at Atma Healing, that comes out of nowhere as well. 1 minute she's getting therapy, I think, and the next she's kissing her therapist. It's just too abrupt. Not to mention the fact that doctors have a responsibility not to get involved with their patient. That whole thing seems off. This whole show, it just feels like a bad mishmash of ambitious ideas and terrible execution. I didn't like the show at all, but if they follow this up with another season, I'm going to sit down and watch it. I'm not going to hate watch it, I'm actually going to sit down and watch it to find out what they actually do to defeat the big bad. It's a terrible show, but it's still a show I'm willing to watch because I want to get to the end of it. I want to know how it ends. I don't know what that says about the show. And more importantly, I don't know what that says about me. But that's how things are. What did you think of the show? Did you hate it? Did you like it? Let me know, and I will see you next time.